We had also Mizwi Awiti, that's group over here, right? Can you give us some nouns that you liked? Ladies, keyboard, please.
Now we like the dignitaries. The one that we didn't like was like.
Let's see them both. Let's do the same thing that we did with the verbs. Let's see dignitaries. Let's see place. Does anybody carry hand sanitizer on them?
Yeah.
Sweet. I'm sorry? Because it's going to die before the end of the period, and I want to make sure there's some hand sanitizer in the room to clean my hands before, I do anything else.
It's your pet.
No, it's not my pet. Doesn't respond to commands, and I can't leash it. Therefore, it is not my pet.
What happened to your plant?
Dead. I kill plants. It's my hobby. Where are we? And tell me where we are on the page.
It's the third paragraph, the second sentence.
Nice. Thank you. Go with the bad. Okay, they're finished the typing. We start with the strong noun. You've decided dignitaries. Defense. Pause, Matt. We'll wait until the classes decide to listen to you. Okay, once again, defend your choice of dignitaries as a strong noun. Uncommon. Good. Any other reason? Do you know what it means? The word dignitary. Can somebody define it for me? I'm sorry? Not quite, because take a look at it, Martin. We've got people, guests, dignitaries. Therefore, dignitaries are probably some type of what? Correct, some type of person. So they're not an abstract notion like rights. Aaron? Important people. That word bears a lot of similarity to what other word which might help us understand? Dignity, dignified. Dignitaries are important people. Now, here's the lesson for this. Hey, here's the lesson for this. If you want uncommon nouns, if you want to use uncommon nouns and uncommon verbs, that's fine, as long as you can be relatively assured that your audience will understand those words. On occasion, I will use words in the course of discussion in an English class lecture or activity where I know for a certain fact that 90 to 95% of my audience is clueless as to the meaning of that word. Sometimes I do that on purpose to draw attention and to exert my power. But often I use it on purpose to teach them a new word. It's a different form of communication. You can't practice that form of communication in your writing. Because in your writing, you are not teacher-student relationship. You are sender-receiver relationship, where you are trying to communicate to somebody and invite them in and allow them to experience your thoughts. Therefore, you must make a decision. This is uncommon, yet understandable. If that's the balance you've struck, then great, use the word. If it's uncommon and not understood by the general audience, then you've got a problem. It's going to vary from person to person, and you have to make that judgment call. Now, for me, the word dignitaries is fairly familiar, but I realize that I, with my background, am relatively uncommon. And I constantly have to check myself because I must understand that my use of language is not common use of language. So you'd have to make that decision on your own as well. And this group has decided that dignitary is uncommon, yet understandable enough to work. What doesn't work in this sentence? You said that this one is not a good... Snacks? Okay. Why doesn't snacks work?
It kind of seems plain and like didn't really fit in with the rest of the sentence. We're talking about a car and snacks.
Jesse, tell the class a little bit, because some of the students may not have chosen to read the story, about the story. What's this about?
They're making a trip to their grandfather's funeral in his land, and I think it's like a place they've never been to.
So this seems definitely, we're talking about Kenya, and we're talking about one person's experience at a traditional funeral ceremony of a grandfather, which tends to be pretty emotionally powerful at a certain point in the story. Now, answer the question, Jesse, why might snacks not seem appropriate to you? Snacks in a car.
It's not really a deep noun. Like you could have picked one with more emotional content behind it.
Let's see if this is correct, Jesse. Is it too casual for the purpose? Okay. So we're talking about the death of a grandfather. We're talking about formal funeral ceremonies, and suddenly we're talking about having snacks in the car. And that seems to be a conflict there. It's too casual for what we've got going on. Does the author want that conflict? The author...
12-year-old kid writing it, isn't it?
Therefore, perhaps the author has intentionally used common, out-of-place language to emphasize that he's still 12 years old and still seeing the world through 12-year-old's eyes. Does that make sense? Okay, so something that may seem to be a mistake on the purpose, or on the surface, may actually have a purpose to it below, which amplifies the meaning. But, hold on a second. I don't want to tell you folks that you were wrong. Because a reader and an audience is often not making conclusions for any other reason than they really feel them. You really felt that that word was a little bit out of place. So maybe the conflict was a little bit too much and it alienated you rather than drawing you into the experience. Okay? So trust yourself when you're doing that. And trust yourself when you're writing it. I think you've got the point. And I don't want to go over the point too much because I don't want you obsessively attached to every single word in the essay that you write. I won't be. But what I want you to do is to pay attention to your word choice when you are crafting these sentences and realize that your essay overall can lose or gain power from the choice of a single verb or a single noun. All right. End of story. Good enough.